Hello loves, and welcome back to the channel. Yes, I know that this video should have been posted earlier. I had filmed it and then it got deleted off my phone somehow. So here we are again doing it today. I had a very crazy day. I'm very tired, but we're gonna do this video anyway. Even though, you know, it is today, but the effects of the full moon, full and new moons, they last for 2.5 days, so you guys can still work with the energy throughout this time. So we're going to be looking at the astrology of the day, as well as we're going to look at the oracle cards and the tarot. Quite a bit of things have shifted. There's definitely less retrogrades because some of the planets have, you know, come out of retrograde. Before we jump in, definitely make sure you get your tickets for the intro into spiritual herbalism, the workshop that's happening on the 15th, because we're going to be doing an herbalism series for the next couple of weeks, so the next couple of months actually. So definitely make sure you tune in for part 1. With that being said, we're going to start with the planetary position. So Sun is currently in Sagittarius, Moon is in Gemini, Mercury is in Capricorn, Venus is in Sagittarius, Mars is in Gemini in retrograde, Jupiter is in Pisces, Saturn is in Aquarius, Uranus is in Taurus in retrograde, Neptune is in Pisces, and Pluto is in Capricorn. So we're still kind of pushing through those two planetary retrogrades with Mars and Uranus that will be, you know, moving out of retrograde in January. So we're kind of still pushing through. We're getting through. We're getting through it. It's just taking, you know, some time, but we're getting through it. Once we move into January, well into February, things will start to feel like a little bit more of a breath of fresh air. So just stay tuned for that energy to come through. But for this specific full moon, this is the last full moon of 2022, so it's definitely a lot going on in our heads. Mental health is really one of the key things when I was meditating with spirit and asking for the cards as well. It's a big part of it is mental health, where your head is right now, because this is socially considered the end of the year, even though we know, if you've been here for a while, you know that this is not the end of the year. The year ends in Pisces season, the year begins in Aries season. That's just how it's supposed to be, but you know, colonization did a lot. So here we are, you know, celebrating endings and new beginnings at the wrong time of the year, but here we are. So we're starting off with the sun in an opposition to the moon and the sun in an opposition to Mars, which absolutely makes perfect sense. There's definitely the relationship between the mutable energies, with Sagittarius being a mutable sign in fire, Gemini being a mutable sign in air. So the energy can feel a little bit combative. It can feel a little bit like, you know, you have a thought and then energy wise, like, okay, how do you make it happen? And it's like you might want certain things, but it's not moving quick enough. At the same time, it could make things feel a little bit more agitating than we might want them to feel as well. And it makes things a little bit more, it definitely pushes us when it comes to our emotional energies and our ego energies as well. So the way we're feeling might not fully translate with the way our actions are also navigating. There might be some contradictions. It might not make sense, all of it, to yourself, like how you're feeling, your behavior, how you're reacting to your behavior as well. So keep that in mind, because it might, you know, not feel super the best or super clear right now. The sun is also in a square with Neptune, so spiritually we're definitely pushing through and navigating some not great things. It feels like we are going through some realization spiritually, especially when it comes to divination, some messages that are coming through. This is also a time where you need to be mindful with how you're kind of navigating some of your spiritual messages, especially if you feel like overindulging in some aspects when it comes to working with different substances and stuff like that. Keep in mind, Neptune rules over spirituality and being in the subconscious, and any type of, you know, substances, including like weed, alcohol, those things are ruled by Neptunian energy. And so you have to definitely be a little bit mindful how you overindulge during this time, because it can blind your ego a little bit. That Sun square Neptune can blind your ego by overindulging, especially if you're kind of in the way that you're feeling is not necessarily how you want to feel. You're like trying to escape, but you can't escape the situation. Focus on transmuting the energy instead of overindulgence during this time. It's a better way to use the energy. The moon is in a conjunction with Mars because they're both in Gemini. So emotionally, there's definitely a lot of emotional action, a lot of emotional reaction. You might find that your emotions are shifting very quickly. You might find that you change your mind like every 45 minutes or so. You're kind of like in a different mood or in a different vibe, depending on like how you're navigating through the next couple of days, which can feel a little bit all over the place, but that is Gemini energy for you, right? Mars doesn't like being a Gemini anyway. And so because it is in retrograde, when it's in this conjunction with the moon in this way, emotionally, it can make things a little bit chaotic. So just make sure that your self-care routine is on point. Like you're able to kind of like, if you're having a dip in the day or a couple dips in the day with your mood, you know, do something to like help sustain your energy. Do something to help you like come back to peace within your energy, instead of just kind of like sitting on the not so good feelings. Allow yourself to focus on transmuting it and what you're going to do about it, instead of just kind of doing things chaotically. Try to have some sort of game plan with yourself. This is when your self-care routine really comes into play. The moon will also be in a trine with Saturn. So there's a lot of karmic stuff happening, especially verbally. Some conversations that we're having as peoples, as communities and stuff like that are very much karmic during this time. Certain things are meant to happen during this time. Certain things need to be said. And also certain things will be channeled intuitively, especially because the moon is in Gemini. So this is a time where verbally we're able to discern and receive messages very loud and clear. Loud, emphasis on the loud. And because it's in a trine with Saturn, it's definitely karmic. There's a revealing consequences kind of energy with this as well. There's also a time where we're feeling a little bit reflective on how grounded we have been, the things that we did this year that have not been working and that didn't work, and that we need to work on more. It's a lot of reflective energy, and that came up in the tarot cards. There's a lot of like mentally analyzing where we have lacked being grounded and how we want to move forward in the future being grounded as well. So it's a great time to kind of sort that out, but it also feels like there's a lot of pressure and a lot of like trying to come back to harmony, but needing to overcome a lot at the same time, and being emotionally kind of stressed about it. The moon will also be in a square with Neptune, so definitely spiritually a great time to transmute energy. Not necessarily the best time for, I would say, manifestation per se. This is like a really good full moon to just kind of sort yourself out. Not necessarily focus on drawing stuff in, because there are certain things that are happening now that also need to happen. Keep in mind that when we're in December, when we're like pushing through and having like Capricorn energy very much focused on, even though we're still in Sagittarius season, the energy is still very much there. Keep in mind that the way the planets are set up, like Pluto, it's still in Capricorn, Mercury is in Capricorn. We have that energy sitting there that you know, as we start regrounding mentally, we already start shifting into, you know, analyzing our goals, analyzing the time that we spent, the time that we wasted, the things that we should have done, or woulda, coulda, dulda, whatever. So it can be very emotionally heavy, and it can be very, you know, mentally like mental health wise, like feeling anxiety, feeling like overwhelmed. So this is a great time for you to actually get grounded with yourself, especially because Mercury is also in a conjunction with Venus. Great time for you to kind of get grounded with yourself, do something, or that you love to do. I have like certain things that I like to do when I'm like overstressed, or I need to like cool off my energy. So I'll just put on my favorite show, which is Doctor Who, and I'll watch like some episodes or whatnot. I'll make myself some tea, like I'll go with my comfort foods and stuff like that, and just allow myself to relax and feel comfortable, because mentally there's definitely a lot that we're processing. We're calibrating a lot, and we're still feeling a lot of pressure. We're still feeling like we have some decisions to make, which we do because we're coming to the end of the social year. That's what I'm gonna start calling it. Mercury will also be in a square with Jupiter, so be very mindful of the things that you manifest by mistake. Be very mindful with your words. Like moon's in Gemini, it's not a time for you to just be talking or using your voice just to say things out loud. Focus on actively, clearing the air with yourself first before you try to manifest under this. This is a great full moon to kind of just cleanse and release, and mentally just let go of anxiety. This is a great time for peace spells, or calm, or like de-stressed anti-anxiety spells. Those kind of spells are perfect for this time, but not necessarily manifestation wise, not necessarily the best right now. Manifesting during this time, especially with the Mercury square Jupiter, can be a little bit chaotic and can end up manifesting things that you might not want, or overdoing something that was not necessary to be overdone. So keep that in mind. Venus will also be in a square with Jupiter, and Venus will also be in a square with Neptune. So again, your self-love and your self-care routine, how you care about yourself right now, is very, very important, because of the mentally, all of the things that are happening up here. It's going to feel a little bit overwhelming. It's going to feel like you want to go into different directions. You might want to put it on your spirituality to like open up the roads in that way, this is a good time to do some blockbuster spells, and a good time to do some road opening work, but because Gemini is a road opening sign, but it's not about like manifesting the house right now. That's not what you should be focusing on right now. It's about clearing up anything in the way that's stopping you from getting to that point, just because of very much the way Gemini energy moves. It moves very quickly. It rules the element of air. It does not rule the earth, right? So you want to make sure that the spell is focused on the element that you're working with, which should be your mind. It should be the air element. It should just be cleansing the air, cleansing the energies around you, so you're not kind of like feeling stuck. Mars will also be in a trine with Saturn. There's definitely karmic consequences with the things that are happening within your mind. Don't just say things carelessly. Don't just say things just to say things, because there will be consequences, and it can impact your stability and your grounding as well. So be mindful when you're having conversations with other people. Even if you're like feeling a lot of pressure from other people, just try to detach for a bit, and take care of yourself first. If not, you're going to be feeling very overwhelmed. Jupiter will be in a conjunction with Neptune, and Saturn will be in a square with Uranus. So the energy is very much amplifying a lot of the ways that we are, like, we're all feeling this moon. We're all feeling it, and it feels like, because we're all feeling a lot of things, and because we're all going through a lot of things, it can make us react to each other in a very combative ways. So it's important that we check our emotional energy, because they're up here, they're within our minds throughout this time, but we have to make sure we're not also putting ourselves in a position that we're going to have to explain why we're being combative, or why we're reacting in a combative way, and then it turns into a whole problem later. When it comes to the tarot, we have the Fool, the Seven of Wands, the Judgment card, which we know, to me, that's the card of the ancestors. Then we have the King of Pentacles, and our outcome is the Ten of Swords. So again, mentally, we're still processing a lot. There's a lot of heavy weight. There's a lot of disappointment. There's a lot of, not feeling the best, not feeling like, you've done enough, or like or feeling like you wasted time, feeling like other people are pressuring you now, feeling like you don't know what to do about it, feeling like, you know, on the outside there's certain things that are grounded, but then mentally, like what's going on internally, it's actually not that great. Things are not as grounded as they need to be, and this is why you need to focus on just clearing things up so you can get back to being grounded. Definitely great time for road opening though. Great time for road opening, great time to meditate with the ancestors, ask for messages, ask for clarity, ask for peace, ask for protection. Yeah, but there's definitely like, there's unfinished business for some. There's things that have yet to be, you know, overcome, that needs to happen. We are getting peer pressure and let go of anxiety. Great time to work with lavender as well, like just working with or chamomile, lavender or chamomile, just to kind of release some of the energy, release some of the tension, and focus on kind of bringing some peace to your body. Lavender specifically, just go make yourself some lavender tea or draw yourself a bath or whatnot, but lavender specifically. We're also getting moving and decisions, because like I said, this is very much a road opening kind of moon. And the bottom of the deck, we have the Four of Wands, the Nine of Swords, and the Chariot. There's certain things that we have not succeeded in, that we have not achieved yet, that we're still frustrated about, but we still want to get there. We still want to get to the end goal, but we're feeling a lot of, you know, like not uncertainty about how we're getting there. And this is why you need to focus on transmuting that energy first. That is the focus of it. So yeah, that was the messages that are coming through for this moon. I hope that you guys got all of the messages that you needed. I love you guys so much. I will see you guys in the next video. And yeah, have a good day.